Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Posttopostpod. With me, as always, is my co-host, Chris Ronan. How are we doing tonight, buddy?
Good, buddy. What's going on next week? Anything good? Any plans?
No plans at all next week.
Nice.
Why? Why'd you ask that?
I am on vacation next week, and
You
I can't wait.
son of a bitch.
Yeah. It's going to be nice.
How's it feeling not work?
Yeah, feels good. Feels good. I am on my way down the Cape. That's why I got my Cape Cod hoodie on. Shout out Cuffees. Yeah, we're just going down to a little Cape house. We got the week. I mean, it's going to be kind of quiet. We thought it was going to be all of my in-laws and, like, their family, but I guess half of them aren't coming until, like, the end of the week, so got the place to ourselves for a little bit. Yeah, it'll be good.
I feel like, especially people who have been down the Cape, or especially New Englanders, they know Cuffees.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah. Even tourists. That's people go there. It's nuts.
You know where you're going when you're going down the Cape.
Yeah.
I got to get some coffee gear, you know? But I have a vacation coming up, finally. It's been almost a full year. November 7th. The week.
Are you able to roll your vacation time or no?
What do you mean roll?
Like if you have 3 weeks per year, can you like not use some of it and roll it to next year?
Yeah. So
is that what you've been doing?
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, nice.
So I do 2 weeks back to back because I just need a break.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a third week that I just don't use. And what I'm able to do is pretty much tell the people who do the checks, be like, hey, just pay me
out
week.
on it. That's even better, dude. If I could take cash for vacation time, I totally would too.
So it's nice. So I like to take my vacations around this time because I usually travel, and it's a lot better to travel around November, but I don't know, money-wise and everything, it's not looking good, but I'll take the 2 weeks off regardless, and it's nice to have a nice, extra big check with you in like January when you don't use it. So
this time of year down the Cape's awesome too, because like right after Columbus Day, like no one goes there. It ends up being kind of a ghost town, as bad as it sounds. Like it's really just the people that live there, and I kind of like that. Like some of these places close down for the winter, but the places that are open are very like a homey vibe and like just quiet. Like I don't want to call them dive bars, but like they get that dive bar vibe to them, you know, because of how kind of empty they are in the winter. But that's just what I like. So
they get all their money from tourists and everything throughout the summertime.
Cash in.
Yeah, it's weird to me. I remember the first time I realized people live down there year round. I'm like, what do you guys do?
Yeah, it is tough. There's not much to do in the winter. It's weird. Whole place kind of shuts down. But speaking of getting some nice gear from Cuffees, I do want to let you listeners know that you should check out posttopostpod.com, our new website, and get some nice gear for yourself. Nothing on it says Cape Cod, but everything on it says Post to Post Podcast. So check it out. We have a great website for you guys to take a look at, and that's all I really got there.
I mean, if you do want it to say Cape Cod, we might be able to
whatever
do
you want.
for you.
I'll saw that for you.
Mm-hmm. The Buffalo Sabres jersey with Cape Cod on it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, reach out if you guys like want to change the color scheme, anything you want. Like you can take this logo and throw your team's colors on it. You could make, a Chicago Blackhawks color one, whatever you want. Don't matter.
Whatever you want.
Pick a team, we'll make it that color. Just reach out to us, let us know. There is a contact us page on the website, so head on over, check it out.
I like it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. It's nice to say that. It's been a while.
Yeah, it is kind of cool too. Like I feel like a lot of these sites, it's like, here's our merch, that's what you get. Like, listen, if you see something you want, you don't see it on there. You want a new water bottle with our logo on it. You want like a polo T-shirt, which I kind of want. Like, we'll get it done for you. We'll make it happen.
I was just thinking magnets too.
Magnets are a good call.
Some magnets on there. Throw it on the back of like a car, like a little car magnet.
Yeah, we could be like Supreme and just make a brick that says Post to Post Podcast. Have you seen that? You know the clothing brand Supreme?
Yeah.
So they initially, I don't think they were a clothing company, but they started out making like absurd items with just the word Supreme on them. I think there's like a fire extinguisher, and they would make like limited one, like we're not making any more of these, and it would sell for like thousands of dollars.
That is
like the brick,
so
I think,
dumb.
Don't quote me, but probably sold for like 5 digits. Just because people are like, oh, it's Supreme. I have this Supreme brick. There's only one brick.
You sit there and think, now that we're selling stuff and like doing the podcast, I think before me it'd be like, that's so dumb. But like, if you can get the money and some idiot's gonna buy it,
limited one of one Post to Post podcast. Like, I don't know, you name it. Glove, one glove. You don't get a pair. It's one glove.
Mm-hmm. Just a glove. It's like bar RX-7 from like 2011 that's like destroyed.
Yeah.
For like $5,000.
An Eastern Synergy autographed by both of us.
Yep. With the very limited time post sticker on it.
How's your autograph, Matt? Is your autograph good?
It's good.
I doubt it.
That's all I kind of worked on in high school.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Slap
it on the resume.
Fucking terrible high school student. So like they'd be sitting there, and this is before like smartphones and everything. So you'd be like, "What do you do?"
Doodling
like,
and stuff.
well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my initials.
My handwriting is atrocious, so
Oh God, I'm terrible. I think you've seen my handwriting for like notes in the beginning of everything. I used to handwrite our notes, and you'd be like, "What the hell is that?" And because you do something for so long, especially your handwriting, you can read it, but you don't think to show it to someone else. Like a doctor's.
It's kind of like impressive when I see a guy that has really nice handwriting.
Yeah.
Like I'm like that's kind of insane.
My uncle does. My uncle has incredible handwriting. I'm like, for such a sloppy dude, for some reason you have incredible handwriting.
We are down a rabbit hole right now.
Yeah, we gotta stop. We're 6 minutes.
We don't realize until we're like deep.
But with that said, we have a full week of actual hockey, which has been a fucking-tastic, by the way.
Season started. Fantasy's up and running. I got my team set. I'm feeling pretty good. I got a considerable lead on the guy I'm up against, but I was pretty disappointed to have to play the champion from last season the first week. But doing all right, holding my own. Mika Zibanejad, want to start off with him. He's really made me look good. Scored the first goal of the NHL season, an absolute beauty. Oh. Short-handed, walks in, fakes forehand, cuts to the backhand, bar down on the inside. Nasty goal.
Right on Vasilevsky.
Follows it up with an awesome one-timer on the power play. Ends up getting 2 goals in the game. It was Rangers Lightning season opener, basically. And I was hoping that he locked up the hat trick with the empty net goal, but didn't end up happening.
Couldn't get it.
Great points. I love drafting that guy. That guy's awesome. That's where I'm at.
Rangers looked really good against Tampa Bay. So, and this beginning week, you're going to see a lot of teams play each other, and I don't know. It's hard to sit there and be like, oh God, this is what they're going to look like. But in reality, it's teams with new players, maybe just like different players that they're still trying to figure shit out. So this is like shaking off the cobwebs, figuring shit out. So take this first week, and by the week after this podcast drops, for teams to really settle in here, and then we'll start to see the real teams start to appear. Yeah,
this will drop for you guys on Monday, too. I did want to chime in and let you guys know that the first of my 3 Ottawa games that I'm scheduled to watch is on here. Toronto versus Ottawa on October 15th at 7 p.m., so I'll be watching that one. I'll have a little analysis for you guys next week. And then the following one after that will be versus Minnesota on the 27th. So I'll let you guys know what I think about the team, if they're boring still, or if I was dead wrong about them. I'm hoping that I'm dead wrong about them, and I'll enjoy myself watching these games. But yeah, that's I just want to chime in with that real quick.
I did try to show you some highlights of that Ottawa Senators Buffalo Sabres game.
You picked the 2 worst teams in the league? Like,
I don't know.
Snooze fest. It's
I
down there.
I enjoyed it. Again, like I'm an underdog type of guy. Like I love watching those teams come up.
Yeah.
So those are like the games I like watching.
The Craig Anderson storyline is getting better and better. One game this week, I believe it was the second or third game of their season, if they've played 3 by now. But he stops 35 of 36, and people are tweeting about like, oh, he needs to retire, he needs to hang him up, and then they're like, wow, this is crazy, like resurgence, blah blah blah. His wife tweets out that he Tom Brady'd her. I don't know if you've heard the news that Brady is in a lot of stuff with Giselle filing for divorce, and he's never home, like that kind of thing. So it's pretty funny to see her chime in and say something like that, you know?
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I feel like I was wrong. We did the breakdown for the Buffalo Sabres, and I guess I was kind of in the right to be on the fence with him. 41 years old, dude, the oldest guy in the NHL currently, and he's a goalie. I was just like, I'm on the fence of what Buffalo Sabres is doing. But that Buffalo Sabres versus Ottawa Senators game, man, it was Antoine Forsberg versus Craig Anderson, and both of them were playing fantastic. I noticed a few things when watching the game, though. Like, I was right when I said this dude just never goes down at all. Like, there was a few plays like tight, and he just like refused to like go down, just kind of stood up. Very old school type of goalie.
I don't see that as old school though. I see that as new school almost, where even the new guys are starting to conserve energy more, and you can be faster on your feet if you're not down on the ice, because if you're up, your blade is already set to push to the left. If you're down in a butterfly, you have to put your right leg up, set it, and then push over to the left. Like, it's conserving energy, and it's just not wasting time doing, unnecessary movements at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Like, Paul is big about that. Paul Varley, our guest we had on. Check out that episode if you guys haven't. Went to that GGSU camp, and that was a big component of it, was there's no need to make unnecessary motions and do extra work for no reason.
The only reason why I brought that up, too, especially because, I don't know, like, the more you watch, like, the NHL games, like, there's just, like, there's a routine for everything, like the RVH and just the way the movements are. And Craig Anderson kind of goes against it, and that's why I kind of freak out a bit, like, oh my God, like what's gonna happen here? Like when Tim Thomas was with the Bruins, like his style was just what the hell was that style?
Yeah, it's a tough comparison. That guy was just unorthodox, out of position.
Yeah,
ridiculous
all the time. Yep. But that's what I'm saying. Just like, oh God, this could end bad, And that doesn't happen. Like he stops the puck, he gets it out, looks good. So I don't know. I have a different viewpoint now with Craig Anderson. We'll see. Hopefully he can get shit done with the Buffalo Sabres this season.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but he'll be there. He'll be playing.
He'll be in that.
I do like that he's there.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I've been very anti-Anderson. I don't think it's the right move when you have all these young guys. He's a great veteran presence, don't get me wrong. It's a great thing to have, but at the end of the day, if you're building a new core and you're, starting a rebuild in a sense, I think you want a young goalie to back up the other young players and they can all learn and grow together. Like, yeah, they're going to – I mean, what are the forwards and defensemen really going to learn from a 41-year-old Craig Anderson in that? No offense, right? Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, when the contract's up and let's say he doesn't come back next year, or he does and then he leaves the year after, like, where does that put you,
Yeah.
I think Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is going to get a lot more looks this season, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. It's good for the organization. You want the new guys in. Maybe Craig Anderson as a veteran could show Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Yeah, but then they start him on opening night, and I kind of question it. But then I also think, like, oh, it is the Senators. Maybe that's why they did something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. That's good. I didn't think about that. But Antoine Forsberg is their guy, too. I mean, yeah, that's right. Ottawa Senators. I don't know, but I do have a few notes here with goalies, just in general here for the week, especially what I saw. I do want to switch over here to the Blackhawks. I showed you it was the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Chicago Blackhawks, that highlight. And I think Chicago played a lot better than I really gave them credit for. I know I literally just said it's been the first week and the second week of just teams getting together and figuring shit out, but they played a lot better. I thought they were going to play like absolute dog shit this season, but this game versus the Las Vegas Golden Knights and Chicago Blackhawks, where they lost 1-0, that was it, and it was a goaltending tandem between Logan Thompson and Alex Stalock, was pretty unbelievable to me. I think Alex Stalock really kind of stood on his head for that game.
Yeah, it was definitely a good game. I do think this week's episode is going to be a little tough because we're really making judgments and bold statements about teams that have played one or two games. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, like right now, the Blackhawks still don't have a win. They played really great. Sorry, they lost, a 1-0 game. But you're right. They did put the young guys in. They battled and they played against, I would argue, like a fringe playoff team, if not like a wild card team in that sense. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think it is good to see. But at the end of the day, like it's not going to get the job done, and the team has just sold everything away. Right. They are the Buffalo Sabres senior, I think. Mm-hmm. It's like Weenie Hut Juniors from SpongeBob. Like, I don't know.
Say that again.
Weenie Hut Juniors, dude.
Oh, the Weenie Hut Juniors.
Yeah, remember?
Yeah.
He's at like the tough guy bar, and he's like, oh no, you got to go over there. He's like, Weenie Hut Juniors, and then there's like another one next to it that's like even worse. So it's like Buffalo and Chicago, I think, but. That's what happens when you sell everything away. It's worth it, The future is going to come eventually, but this season, it's not going to look so bright.
No, not at all. Just one more goal I do want to get down to that I shoot at highs for is the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Arizona Coyotes. And Vejmelka, I'll die on my small hill that backs up Vejmelka. I think he's a solid goaltender. Stats are just not going to show it, but versus the Pittsburgh Penguins they had this week, man, it didn't look good in the beginning of, literally right in the beginning of the game, minute in. Crosby had that sick-ass goal. But after that, Vejmelka really started shutting that door. You don't think so?
No, they scored 3 goals in the first period.
Yeah, but
and they lost 6-2.
What I meant to say is, he started shutting the door after that. I think he looked really well.
The door was not shut. They scored 6 goals.
Yeah, the
door was open.
It was cracked open a little bit. It was a job.
6 goals. Open a little bit as 4, I would say. This door was open.
It was creaking.
The police came by and raided him. He got swatted on Twitch.
It's all right.
I do like Vejmelka. I'm not arguing with that, but the door was open. Yeah. And he didn't I'm not saying that he didn't play well, but he didn't play well. There were 6 goals scored. I mean, it's a much better team, and I think Sidney Crosby is going to have a hell of a season. You saw the no-look pass from Jake Gensel on that first. I think it was the first goal of the game, right?
Yeah.
That was unreal. I think Crosby is just going to pop off this season. It's just going to be a great year for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah.
That's all I really have there.
Yep. Penguins look very good. But, again, we're comparing them with the Arizona Coyotes, so maybe give them a little bit of a team that's closer to their talent, and then we might see what they can do.
Yeah, but I think when you say a team that's closer to their talent, like, they're arguably in the top 10 of the league, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like the top third of the league.
Yeah.
There's probably 2/3 of the league that's like lower than them. Like they're one of the good teams. There's the teams that are bad, the teams that are in the middle that we're not really sure on. I'd say Pittsburgh is a good team, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I would say top third
for all the old guys.
Yeah.
Getting the job done.
Yeah, I just if the production doesn't fall off, then who gives a shit with their ages, you know?
Yeah, right, exactly. Huh. Good thought. Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird question. If like you were to put the Pittsburgh Penguins up there, like I love the Pens, but I don't know. Yeah, as of late, you think of like Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flames.
Keep going.
Florida
I want to see
Panthers,
it. Yeah.
Carolina Hurricanes.
Wait, okay. You told me Florida's not going to make playoffs, but all right, keep going. Carolina.
Oh, I'm not talking about just playoffs. I'm just talking about who I think the good teams
top 10.
Are. Okay.
You know, like usually the top 16 teams make playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep going.
Florida Panthers still in that.
Carolina Hurricanes.
Carolina Hurricanes. Let's see. I'll put
Toronto's fair. Toronto's fair.
Yep, Toronto.
New York Rangers.
Tampa Bay Lightning.
Colorado.
How much is that? Colorado Avalanche. How many is that?
We're at 8. I think Pittsburgh's pretty close to being called.
Pittsburgh's pretty close. Yeah, so we'll do Pittsburgh Penguins. And then who else would be?
Now we're getting into the middle part,
Nashville
I think, right?
Predators, maybe?
No, I don't think so. I think they're fringe. St. Louis Blues.
Oh, Blues.
Vegas, LA. They're kind of in the middle. I think it's Pitt and St. Louis. I don't know. I think that's really it. Like I think those are probably the top 10 in the league.
Yeah. What other teams am I missing here? I'm thinking Carolina. No. California teams. No, they're like right in the middle. Seattle Kraken's not gonna do well. No,
yeah, I think that's it, man.
I think that's really it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty decent top 10. But I do think Pittsburgh slots in there.
Yeah, they do slot in there. But in my head, in your head, when you think of like top teams, I think Pittsburgh kind of slots down like exactly.
Yeah, but I think that's because there's an upper echelon of like the top 4 that we named: Edmonton, Calgary, Florida, Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably, Tampa should be in there ahead of Carolina, right? Mm-hmm. But there's 4. I mean, Colorado too, actually. There's probably 5. Let's call it 5.
Yeah.
Edmonton, Calgary, Florida, Tampa Bay, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next 5, it's Carolina, New York Rangers, Toronto, St. Louis, Pittsburgh.
Right.
Maybe,
maybe
think
Minnesota Wild.
They're fringe too. I think they're just too young, and it's all about what Bill Guerin has going for them for the future. And they have Marc-Andre Fleury as a starter. Like Cam Talbot just left. It's just weird there right now. Like we don't really know what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those 5, you're right. There is the upper echelon. Pittsburgh definitely is not in that upper echelon, but they are a top third of the league team.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Yep. With you on that. If you were to put that in any order, like say the top 5 that I have on there, what did I say as top 5?
Edmonton, Calgary, Florida, Carolina, Toronto.
Would you change that at all?
Yeah. Colorado and Tampa need to go in. Carolina, arguably Toronto or Florida can come out. But Colorado, Tampa need to be 1 and 2. Just resume-wise. Edmonton, Calgary are pretty equivalent. And then pick a 5th, Florida, Carolina, and Toronto, you know?
Yeah.
I would almost say there's a top 4 upper echelon.
I think we're going to see an insane Carolina Hurricanes team this season. That's my thought.
I think they should. I really do think they should. They brought in the right veteran presences. I still say that they need a star power like player, but at the same time, they have told you, fuck you, like none of that matters, because we can dive into that right now. The Hurricanes have gone from 4,500 season ticket holders to 14,000 within the last 6 years. So over the course of the last 6 years, in 2016, they finished 7th in the Metro. 2017 was 6th in the Metro. They moved up to 4th in 18, 4th in 19. And then 2020 and 2021, they were 1st in the Central, which is the COVID season, and 1st in the Metro. So when you breed that kind of success with a team that's just been talked about how they don't have the guy that really, carries a flag for them. I think that just being in a dog in the fight is going to grow your fan base in general, but also the team is that good that they're finishing, the first in their division for 2 years in a row. Like, that's nuts,
Right. And they're making it, too. Like, the past 4 years, like, fourth in the Metro.
And if you think about it, they lost in Game 7 against the Rangers last season, I believe. They took the Bruins to 7. The Bruins got knocked out. I think that if they did have that one-star guy, that would get them over the hump to make it so that, like, you're knocking the Bruins out in 6 or 5, and the Rangers, you'll win that series, and now you're in the Cup Finals. Like, if they go to the Cup Finals, I think a lot of this talk about how the team is missing something stops.
Yeah.
Because they've, like, got to the final dance, and they came that close and fell short. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But I think that, like, this year, like, this is the peak for the Carolina Hurricanes, and they need to get over the hump. Not necessarily win a cup, but I think win the conference finals is the goal for them.
Yeah.
Like, a minimum goal for them.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Know what else, as we were talking, know what else really helped, too? I think their involvement with the fans, the whole, what's the thing that they did the Carolina?
Oh, yeah, you're a big fan of the Storm Surge,
I fucking love the Storm Surge, yep. But I think the Storm Surge really helped, man. It brought, like, not only you bring in hockey, but you also bring in something for the fans, like entertainment-wise. Like, fans are going to go there for the game, one, and like as a whole fan base to stay after the game and see what the whole team's gonna do. Because that isn't it after even like a loss, like they all. Oh, it's just wins?
I think it's only after the wins, and it's only at home wins. But if you think about it too, right? If you're finishing 7th and 6th in the Metro, you're not making playoffs in 2016-17. So like, why are fans gonna give a shit about you if you don't even have a shot at winning a championship, right?
Right.
But then from there on, you're qualifying every year. Even if you get bounced in the first round, you're making an appearance, and the fans are rabid there. Like, I think in general, Carolina, college basketball and football come to mind for me with the Carolina Panthers. They do have very strong fans, a very strong sense of pride for people that live in the Carolinas to support their team. And I believe where the stadium is close to the border, so you might even get the draw of the other state coming over to check it out. I could be entirely wrong there, but and I just think it's an awesome atmosphere when you go to one of those games. It's in the center of the city for them, and it's not exactly like a heartbeat, in the sense of like we're Carolina Hurricanes fans, but like, this is fucking awesome when we're in the playoffs and when we're good, and it's a fun team, like you said, with the Storm Surge.
Yeah. I think the arena has something to do with it, too. I had a coworker, we were just talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he says the Mahle Arena was just an incredible spot to be in. Like, talking about, he was like, it's a hockey arena. And whereas, like, we'll say here, like the TD Garden here, it's a hockey arena, but it's also meant for the Celtics. It's also meant for just other shit going on. Whereas the Mahle Arena, it's like it was built for like Tampa Bay Lightning hockey. So, like in Boston, like you could sit down and see the dude's head behind you. Oh, in front of you. Sorry, but just because of the way it is. But like Mahle Arena, like you're above everything, so you can see everything. Like everywhere you are, it's just nice and everything. So I feel like a nice arena, a nice hockey arena that like you're comfortable going to, and it's going to be a good time. I think helps out a lot. I mean, because I already talked about this at least 10 times when we went to the TD Garden. I was just like how uncomfortable I was. How like because of that, I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to another fucking Bruins game.
That's brutal because I have no complaints about the Garden. They did pump in those chairs. I don't remember if you went before or after they changed them, but I think that they changed the chairs. Fans complained. They ripped them out and redid it, and they made it so that it was good. I don't see any issue with TD Garden. They've been like in the sense of they're not a hockey arena. Like I don't think that's fair. Like I think that they are a hockey arena first and foremost, along with the Celtics. Like it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. Like we're a basketball stadium that also has a hockey arena. Like I think they're both. Like I don't look at one being over the other.
Interesting.
What is kind of cool though for the Celtics and like other teams in the NBA that do it, their court is like X amount of degrees cooler than all the other basketball courts because the rink is underneath there or the coolers are underneath there. Pretty cool.
Is that why they have to like sweep the floor? Is that just
no? They do that everywhere because of the sweat from the players running up and down, and then it's usually, if you notice, like if it's coming into the defensive zone and someone falls on the floor and they bring the ball out and go the other way, while they're down the other half of the court, they come out and get all the sweat out of there. Because someone could come down and slip and really mess themselves up. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah. Huh. I thought that was might have been like from the
condensation,
ice or just, like, condensation coming up. No, oh, interesting. Well, I learned something new today.
But let's circle back to the Sabres, right? You got a couple notes on those guys.
Yeah.
We did touch on them earlier, but I think we glanced them over a bit, and I just want to shout out the jersey behind us again. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So Sabres defenseman Matthias Samuelsson signed a 7-year, $30 million contract this week. He spent half of the last season with the Rochester Americans and played 42 games with Buffalo last year with 10 assists. So they have full faith in this dude. You had a good breakdown where it was I think it was 4.4 mil a year for this dude. He was the first line defenseman.
Yeah, first line defenseman along with Rasmus Dahlin.
Yeah.
And I think that the way I look at it, right, you lock this guy in for 4.29 mil per year over the next 7 years. He's young. I want to say 24 years old. I could be misspeaking
like
there.
Yep.
But if you think that he's going to be your top pair defenseman and you lock him in at 4.25, look at all the other top pair defensemen around the league. Think about Cale Makar and his partner, Adam Fox. Like, the numbers that these guys are getting paid, now your top pair defenseman, like, that's going to look like a Brad Marchand type contract down the line where he's making $6 million, on contract, but he's top 5 point production in the league since he's been on that deal. Like, it's just going to be dollars per square inch in that sense,
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to get so much out of him for the dollar amount that you're paying him.
Yeah. And this is only I think this is going to be his first or second full NHL season. So, good contract for him. I want to keep an eye out on Samuelsson here and see what he can do for the Buffalo Sabres. But to keep on with the Buffalo Sabres here, this week they also named Kyle Okposo as captain of the Buffalo Sabres. And we have talked before of teams that who still don't have captains. I'll just list them now. The Winnipeg Jets.
Let's go one by one, too. The Jets have recently stripped their captaincy away from, I believe, Mark Scheifele. I'm not 100% on that. Could have been Blake Wheeler. But one of those two guys had the captaincy. Yeah. It was stripped. And I think with all the rumors and where there's smoke, there's fire around this team, that's why they don't have a captain right now. They don't think they need one. They'll probably do one next year, in my opinion.
The Seattle Kraken, they still don't have one. The Philadelphia Flyers, I think, didn't John Tortorella come out and say something? Be like, we're looking for like a team. Looking for a full team.
John Tortorella has come out and said a lot of shit so far. So he is not pulling any punches. He's pissing this team off intentionally, I think, to get a little more drive out of them.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense with no captain right now, the way that the team is kind of turned sideways for seemingly no reason. So hopefully they figure that one out. The Kraken, honestly, an expansion team. It took a while for Vegas to get their captain done.
Yeah.
I just think that the only real look right now is Mark Giordano, who is probably 1 foot out the door after this season or the next two, I would say.
Yep.
So why give a guy a guy like that? What I was going to say. Not in that sense, but why give a guy like that the captaincy if he's gone in a couple of years?
Be gone. Yep.
So let's build as a team and single out a guy that it can be our captain for the future.
Right, yeah. Flyers, going to go back to that. They're going to be on my radar this season, especially to see what John Tortorella does to this group. I'm still on the fence with
the shit out of him.
Oh my god, man, it's going to be.
There's a picture of a player laying on the ice, just dead, tired. Nice practice. Thanks, coach.
They need it. They fucking need it after last season. Last 2 seasons has been just a disgrace. So John Tortorella is going to hopefully turn these guys around, and there's no bullshit Tortorella too. So hopefully he can get it done. So the Flyers are for sure going to be on my radar.
They did win their first game of the season, which is surprising to me. You know who else has surprised me is the Washington Capitals 0-2. Couple of tough losses there to start the season off, but I digress. We'll touch on that later.
Okay. We got the Calgary Flames, who also do not have a captain.
Was Matthew Tkachuk their captain?
Yeah, I think
and
so.
He was traded away, so they'll probably figure something out. I would say probably halfway through the season, hoping, I think, for Jonathan Huberdeau to fill that role.
The Arizona Coyotes.
The Tucson Roadrunners. Yep, next team.
The Anaheim Ducks, and that's because Ryan Getzlaf retired. Ryan Getzlaf was the captain.
And I think the way that they're making Zegras the face of the league, what do you think's coming next, man? He's going to be the face of the Anaheim Ducks.
Oh, man. Do you think he's too young?
I do, and I think he's not very, I guess stern is the word I'm looking for. You hear him all the time talking. He's very casual, laid back, the perfect embodiment of a California kid, surfer dude. He calls everyone dude, all the time. I don't know. I just don't see him getting the most out of the players on the ice, but they're just making him the face of the league. And maybe that's the new NHL. Maybe you don't need a captain that's a hard ass and is on you. But at the same time, then maybe it's cheat day and I'm having Ben and Jerry's at 10 p.m. at night. Like,
right.
So I don't know. I personally would not want a captain like Zegers because even in my work life, I want a boss that drives me and like pushes me to do more. And as a captain on a team, like, I would want that fire under my ass too.
You don't need specifically a veteran guy, but you do need a guy who's been around for a while that knows what it takes, knows what a captain.
Not necessarily. There have been young captains in the past. I believe Sidney Crosby got the C as the youngest captain in the league.
Right.
And he is just driven different. Him and Nathan McKinnon too. Nathan McKinnon is Sidney Crosby Jr. in my opinion, but those guys, there's like a certain thing in their head that's just like compete, win, be better every day, and like that's who you want to do captain 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
So like it can happen when they're young, but you're right because you don't. It's usually a learned thing, the thing that Crosby and McKinnon just have built into them. Yeah. It takes a couple of years to figure it out and have that for yourself. Mm-hmm. But I think you can see it in a young guy, but you're right. It really is rare. It's rare.
Yep. I still think the worst thing a team could do is give their goalie the captaincy. They did.
That just shouldn't happen. That's just like a meme, dude.
Yeah, Vancouver did it with the Roberto Luongo. I'm like, how the fuck does that make sense?
Yeah, speaking of Roberto Luongo, I want to touch on too. Kevin Bieksa signed a one-day contract with the Canucks to retire, which was hilarious. Played 10 seasons with the Canucks. He had a career 808 games played, 63 goals, 215 assists. Jesus Christ. But Roberto Luongo tweets out that it's the second worst contract in franchise history. And, like, this guy is so red hot on Twitter. It is, like, the funniest thing in the world.
He's the retired dad that's figured out Twitter. And he's like, oh, my God, I can do whatever the hell I want.
So funny, man. Yep. He's so good at it, too. It's like he comes out of nowhere. Like, you almost like forget about him after a while, and he comes in with like a one-liner that you're like, holy shit, that's fucking hilarious.
It's almost like a little poke, be like, hey, I'm still here, by the way. I'm
still relevant.
From the side. Yep. So just hilarious. I want to teach before we go on. One more retirement happened this week was New Jersey Devils Andy Green. He played 14 seasons with the Devils before being traded to the Islanders in 2020. He signed a one-day contract with the Devils to retire with them. He played a career 1,057 games, 52 goals, and 212 assists. From what I read or what I heard, I guess he's going to be working in for the New Jersey Devils office. Something I don't think it was really told what, but he's going to be in the office with the New Jersey Devils. So great guy. Andy Green was the captain before he left in 2020 for 6 seasons. 2014 he got the C after, oh God, I'm going to blow this, after the last captain left. But yep, so big captain, big retirement here. It's good to see he's moving on, and I like to see this. I really do like to see this, where like a team actually meant something to like these players. You know, these players could be from a different country, different state altogether, but they built a life with a team, with the city itself, and so it shows a lot. Where Andy Green, like a guy like Andy Green, could be here for like 14 seasons, and be like, no, this is my home now. And he's like, no, I want to retire here, and I want to work with the New Jersey Devils, organization. So I really like seeing this. I really do. It says a lot.
I think it's awesome to see these guys go into the back office on their own teams, because a big part of retirement from pro sports is like, well, what the hell do I do now? This is what I've dedicated my life to since, I don't know, 10 years old is when you really get, I guess, dedicated when you're that good. Mm-hmm. And now it's like I've dedicated my body, my mind, my life. Every day of the week has been eat, sleep, repeat hockey.
Yep.
And what do I do next? So I think a back office transition for all of these guys is like the best thing in the world that you could really end up doing, because it's basically the happy medium between, professional sports and having a real job, because these are very important jobs, and who knows it better than the guy who played for the team and was an all-star. I do think that he was a big presence on the New Jersey Devils back in the day. Mm-hmm. I really liked seeing him on the ice, but I hated playing against him, like seeing my team go up against him. Like he was a great player at the end of the day.
That reminds me, as you were just saying that, I'm not into football. I fucking barely know anything about football, but my coworkers were talking about Tom Brady. One of them hates him, by the way. And they were talking about the whole divorce thing. I didn't know what the hell was going on, but they kind of filled me in. I was like, you know what? As like, you're one of the greatest of all time, like a quarterback for like the NFL. Like your stats really show it. But with that said, again, like what you said with like Andy Green and everything, like this is your life. This was like Tom Brady's life, was just like day in, day out, breathe and live football. Like it was routine. Like this is what I did. And I guarantee you he retired, went home, and was just like, oh my God, what the fuck do I do? Because for as long as I've lived, this is what I've done, and now I don't have anything else, you know?
I think there's a whole nother side of the story that comes to like playing both sides of the fence. I'm announcing my retirement. I'm basically done with this team so I can try to go to that team. There was a lot of weird stuff going on with Brady's retirement, but let's put all that aside and just look at it the other way too. I think that a guy like him has had many opportunities to ride off into the sunset. He wins a Super Bowl with the Patriots, last one with Belichick, like it seemed like the last hurrah. Comes back. I believe he did one more year with the Pats. I mean, I don't keep up with football too much either, but basically keeps playing, goes to Tampa Bay, wins a Super Bowl, another opportunity to ride off into the sunset, but chooses not to, keeps playing. And then you, like, even though he doesn't win it all, you look at the stats, and it's like he's still outperforming, like, the majority of the league. He's, like, one of the best to still be doing it. Like, why stop? If you're still that good, then, like...
Why stop?
Exactly. Like, there's nothing stopping you, literally, you know? I mean, at the end of the day, that sport is one of the most dangerous sports you can play, and maybe, like, you say, hey, it's not worth the risk anymore of me getting cracked and just being, like, you know, messed up for the rest of my life. But he's just driven. He's got that Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby competitor in him. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, as bad as it sounds, it's going to cost him his marriage, you know, and his family. Like, it's tough to see, but.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think we're all just so used to routine that once the routine's taken away from us, we're like, holy shit, like you just lost, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to Craig Anderson, like 41, can still get it done, can still be a goaltender at the NHL level at that age. So I'm sure he's just like, I'm going to keep going until they fucking can't, you know? So.
Some guys do that too, just keep going until they take the skates off me.
Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah, he's losing the drive, though.
Yeah, he's losing the drive. We'll see. We'll be hearing a retirement from him soon, and that's going to be insane. I can't wait to do that. Just like how many goals, how many assists, like how long he's been playing in the league. For fuck's sake.
Kill count, body count.
I want to see how many. I kind of want to see how many teams he's played for in the NHL. I'm sure he's been all around. Remember he was with Boston for like a year?
Dude, that's like the story of Jaromir Jagr. Yes, he has been all around. He's played for like 14 clubs.
It only took Boston. No one ever brought this up, and then he went to Boston for like a year, and.
No, it had been brought up quite a bit.
The Jager bombs?
Dude,
Jager bombs?
Yeah, the team of traveling Jagers that followed him around dressed as him.
Oh, no, not that. But I know.
What are you talking about, the Jager bombs?
You don't know that?
What?
You know how the Jager bombs, like Boston were just like brought out like the shirts and everything of Jager bombs? The drink, alcohol?
It was definitely a thing before.
Oh, I never noticed.
Had to be. With a last name like that, it had to be.
It had to have been. I don't know. I kind of looked that up. I thought Boston for some reason was the.
No, dude. He had been in the league so long before he came to Boston. You think no one thought of that? Think about how big Jägermeister was in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, true.
Had to be.
Yeah, good point. But I digress. Want to move on to something even crazier?
Yeah.
These digital boards.
Yeah, tough look. Tough look. Why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The NHL says, fuck you. I don't know, man. I don't see the point. Like, you take the time to wrap these boards, make them look nice in person. Like, you're going to tell me that when fans go to the stadium and they're sitting there, those boards are blank? They still have a fucking ad on them. Like, make these companies pay extra. Your ad is there, and guess what? It's on TV. You don't need digital boards. Like, they're just trying to grub more money out of these corporations to make up for COVID losses. But, like, if you're going to do it right. And they just didn't. It looks terrible. It's overlapping with players on the ice. It's glitching. It's terrible, dude. Like, such a bad look.
When it does work, it's not bad.
It's okay
at
best.
Different. Yeah.
One post on Reddit I saw was complaining about how when players are transitioning from the defensive zone, skating through to the offensive zone, the same way my hand on YouTube looks like it's got a little motion blur to it. The digital boards do not. So your mind is like, your brain is sending signals to your body and to the eyes saying, like, something's fucking off here. Like, it makes your body feel weird because your brain's like, it's almost like motion sickness in a car. Yeah. Where if you're, like, reading a book while you're driving, your brain's like, this isn't moving, but everything's zooming past me. Yeah. Like, the digital boards don't have that motion blur, and that's like messing with people at home, I hear.
Damn.
And like for them to fix it and add a motion blur to the digital boards entirely defeats the purpose of the digital boards.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Because then you're not seeing it while they're transitioning up and down the ice. So then the people that are paying for those digital boards are like, well, this game was very back and forth, and now I've lost X amount of advertisement dollars to have my ad on the board that people aren't even seeing. Like, it's a huge conundrum. Why did they even open Pandora's box with this?
I don't know. This is also like the first season of doing it. Give it time. It's kind of like the Winter Classic too, in a way. Like, remember they brought back the Winter Classic in 2008 with like the Penguins and Sabres, and they were having a lot of difficulties with like the ice.
Every year they have difficulties with that ice, dude. The Winter Classic sucks. Like, as a hockey standpoint, that's got to be like the worst in the world for these players to play on. Coolest experience ever, but like this ice sucks. These points matter. Like, it's getting close to crunch time for if we're in or out of the playoffs. Fuck.
Okay. Yep.
I don't mean that the Winter Classic sucks, but like
I'm just thought like the timing and everything, and the fact
ice,
that the points matter.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like,
but I wouldn't compare digital boards to the Winter Classic. I would more compare, the closest thing I'd compare them to would be jersey and helmet ads, which people go nuts about for no reason.
Yeah, no, that's
because some of them are kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like the Penguins one on the helmet, the bold. I have no idea what it is, but it just says bold.
I think it's an electrical.
And there's something else underneath. Yeah, it's funny. Some of these ads don't mean shit. Know what I love though? Makes me buy Chipotle every time I see it is the Team USA Chipotle ad. That's a great sponsorship right there.
That's advertisement done right.
Yeah,
right there,
because I get Chipotle every time I watch the Olympics or the World Juniors. You name it.
Who is it? Who's I think it's a Canadian team with the TikTok.
Yeah, Toronto Maple Leafs have TikTok on their helmet.
TikTok. Oof,
classic.
How much? I don't know how much TikTok paid.
Oh yeah, that's probably going to be the biggest one because they were valued as the most profitable franchise.
Yeah.
And then they recently passed the Rangers. I don't know who the Rangers have, but. Yeah, I mean, they got jersey ads, too. I haven't looked too deeply into those, but the Bruins picked some random thing that I had never heard of. I forget what it was. Mm-hmm. There's some company that was basically a business-to-business advertisement, like something that me and you would never purchase for ourselves.
Right. As long as they don't go too crazy. Like, you see, like, the KHL, Swedish leagues. Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Like soccer jerseys, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like...
all ads.
Where, like, the soccer jersey, the biggest logo on the jersey isn't the team. It's, like, Fly Emirates. Like, ridiculous.
You know how long I thought, like, because I never watched soccer at all, and when I was in college, I had a bunch of Spanish friends that, like, watched it, and so I remember vividly saying, like, oh, is that team named the Flying Emirates? I thought that was a plane, and they're just like, dude, that's a logo, like, that's not their team name.
Yeah.
And, like, can't remember what the team name was, but I was looking for it.
Fly Emirates is Arsenal.
Yeah. And Arsenal's not on their jersey.
It's not.
What the fuck?
None of the teams have their names on there.
I'm like,
it's weird.
Why? What? So
you just hoard themselves out.
Right. So you're just like a running up and down a field advertisement. That's exactly what you are.
And soccer, the reason that they do that, I think, is because there's no commercial dollars, because it's 90 minutes, no stop clock play. If it goes into extra time, it's 120 minutes. There's no commercials.
No.
Because the game just runs for 2 hours straight at that point. But going back to the NHL, how the hell did Dunkin' Donuts not pay for the Bruins partnership? That should have been the team on the jerseys, right? That is iconic. I think every team,
helmet too.
Every team should have just had like the most iconic thing you can come up with. Like California, I don't know where Ron John surfboards are based out of, but like Ron John should have bought either Cali or a Florida team, like stat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seattle should be Starbucks all day long. Like,
yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Holy shit.
Right? Montreal should be like a strip club.
Summer on there.
Vegas should be a casino. Like. That'd be fucking cool if they were just like, you got to pick like the main thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Fuck. Now you're blowing my mind right now.
Carolina Hurricanes would be like homeowners insurance for all the hurricanes that come through and just rip their houses up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Calgary Flames would just be like some farm company that just makes mad corn.
Daryl Sutter's farm.
Yeah.
Just like sponsoring the team itself.
What do you got? You got to come up with one, dude. I just rattled off a million of them.
You got the good ones, man. I don't
no
know
way. There's a million. You do Nashville. You do Dallas. Who else?
Tim Hortons are.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
That's a good one. Probably what?
I
Vancouver.
Did one? No.
They probably do.
They probably do.
Canadian team would definitely have them.
Dunkin' Donuts is still the curveball.
Kanye West should be the one for Chicago. Actually, I was misspeaking there. Kanye West should just be the Chicago one. Or LeBron James. Huh?
Why is Kanye West?
Because
he from Chicago?
Yeah, I think so. I think LeBron is massive in. He's actually Ohio. I'm sorry. LeBron should sponsor the Blue Jackets.
Yeah. Dude, I'm trying to think right now.
Eminem on the Red Wings? No, Ford.
You're nailing it.
Because they're
Dodge,
like whatever car manufacturer.
Or GM.
Pick one.
GM for Detroit because
they're gonna go out of business too.
You're nailing me.
Just kidding.
I think they already moved, by the way. I think they're in Mexico. I think they moved their plant to Mexico, so it's gone. Fuck. What? I honestly can't think of anything at all. You're better at.
I was just rattling them off. Yeah, I'm fucking going nuts over here. Arizona Coyotes. Who do we miss? St. Louis Blues.
I don't know.
Colorado Avalanche, dude. Just like Denver. Just like a ski resort.
Or like some weed.
Oh, yes,
place.
dude. Yeah, dispensary.
Some dispensary for Colorado Avalanche.
Oh, man.
Ooh. Toronto Maple Leafs. What are we gonna? Oh, that should be Tim Hortons right there.
Yeah. The New York Rangers, Philadelphia Flyers. Those are a couple good ones that we missed.
Yeah, New York Rangers. What would be New York's thing though? You can only think of buildings. Like what's an actual
Broadway show?
Oh,
Trump.
Broadway.
Trump. Trump Towers.
Oh, the Trump Tower
yeah.
sponsors them. Yeah. New York Islanders. What would that be?
Coffee.
Some pizza shop.
Yeah. Pizza shop's good. Philadelphia Flyers.
Cheesesteak shop.
Oh, cheesesteak. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Washington Capitals. Trump again. He gets two teams.
Just the president.
Oh, man.
The president of the United States sponsors the team.
Oh, we're done. That's it.
Yeah, we went on a fucking tangent there.
That's funny. Hire me, NHL. I'll do it right.
Yeah, we've already given out free advertisements for the past like 10 minutes now. But one of the last things we do want to get to, by the way, is where you going?
Good luck.
What do you mean good luck? It's been a while since he just kind of like left. Like he will. For our Spotify and Apple listeners, he likes to leave like in the middle of just recording, and for the past like at least month, I would say, past 4 recordings we've had, all he does is get up and go to the fridge and get like another beer, which is fine. But it's been a while since he's gone up and just left the room entirely. So, all right, so I'm just gonna go fuck myself and just, say the last thing I was gonna talk about. So the last thing we were supposed to talk about was Connor McDavid. The man, the myth, the legend himself. 700 points in 488 games. He became the 6th fastest player in NHL history to record 700 career points. The only players in NHL history that reached the 700-point mark faster were Wayne Gretzky with 317 games, Mario Lemieux with 363, Peter Stastny, 457, Mike Bossy, 469, and Jari Kurri with a 483 games played to hit that 700-point mark. Unbelievable by Connor McDavid. I was watching him play this week, and I'm just like, fuck. Like, if he stays on this pace, man, this is like Wayne Gretzky level kind of shit from Connor McDavid. I think the only reason why Wayne Gretzky came to mind too, I think, is the Oilers logo on his chest too. I was like, God, you could like compare like a young Gretzky to Connor McDavid somewhat. I know that is a fucking Hail Mary and a half. But
yeah, I mean, that's definitely the look. Like, everybody looks at McDavid and said he's the next Wayne Gretzky, but like, it really goes to show like how much better Gretzky was than the rest of the NHL and the rest of the league. Like, yes, Connor McDavid is the next Wayne Gretzky, but he's not head and shoulders like a giant above the next best guy. Like, he's much better, but he's very close. Like, Gretzky got 700 points in 317 games. That's 171 games faster than McDavid. That's like 2 NHL seasons, more than 2 NHL seasons quicker. That's how much better this guy was. Yeah. He was just a different animal. And even Mario Lemieux being second behind that, like, he's not as far off from Gretzky, and I'm sure that they were saying like that's getting the torch passed to Lemieux from Gretzky, right? Mm-hmm. And then the next closest guy is Peter Stastny, who's almost 100 points behind Lemieux. Like, there's a significant gap there. Like, for McDavid to be up there in these numbers, like, he's gonna be something legit. Like, I think it's McDavid and McKinnon are going to be the next Ovechkin and Crosby.
Ooh, okay. So McDavid and McKinnon?
Yeah, but McKinnon's kind of like a little bit older, so it's not the same. Like, Ovi and Sid were the same draft class. Like, that's why it's different, but like Sid is like the pure goal scorer where Ovi does like a little bit of everything else, you know?
I think we're coming to like an age of the NHL and just professional hockey in general where the talent is fucking through the roof. Like,
yeah, because you saw that weird transition, right? When Gretzky's like the main skill guy, and every team ends up having one of those, and it was just surround him with bruises, protect the shit out of him, nobody touches that guy.
Let him score.
And then as time goes on, it becomes our top 2 lines are really good, the bottom 2 lines are enforcers, and we have a couple fighters, right?
Yeah.
And now I'd say like the late 2000s is where you saw like we'll have like one line of enforcers, and then now it was, if anything, there's one fighter on the team. So now the teams are getting that much better, and the points are getting distributed that much more. The goaltending's gotten better. There's so many different factors that go into it, but it's just a different game, and everyone on the ice has to be able to be the best at all times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where it was never like that, in a sense.
Right. Right. Now it's like...
It's the highest quality product that we're getting towards.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
That's insane.
Right? We've almost peaked as a society.
Now, does that add or take away from, like, what am I trying to say? Like, the fun of the game? Like, what am I trying to say here? Like,
it takes away an aspect of it. I know what you mean. It's one less reason for the average consumer to watch.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have that Rock'em Sock'em Robots, the big stage, center ice, drop them all, like 5-on-5, bench clearing brawls, like those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely brought in a crowd. It brought in people. It gave the league some attention. But now it's like you need to be like a hockey purist to really appreciate and be a fan of the sport now, you know? Yeah. Like, and it's such a fast game. Like, even when I was a kid, my father would try and make me watch hockey, and like, yeah, I watched it, but like, I couldn't see where the puck is half the time because it's under the boards there when it's near side camera. Yeah. You know, you can't see it. Mm-hmm. It happens so fast, and that's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's even faster.
Yeah.
And as a kid, they're probably like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what's drawing in more fans because it's like, that is like such a high skill level now, you know? I don't know though, you know?
But I think you have it right where just like, I feel like the people who play hockey that know hockey appreciate this more than people who don't know it. I feel like if you brought just a friend who never really watched a game before or brought him like to a game, I don't know if they could sit there and just like, I'd be like, wow, that guy's going fast. But like for you as a fan, I'd be like, that guy's going fast as shit compared to like any other player I've ever seen, you know, that like that type of mentality. But like it is like like that Bruins versus you'll say it's because it's the Sabres and toward the end of the season, but I still thought at the Buffalo Sabres versus the Bruins game when I went to, it was just like, oh, this is not like it was just back and forth. Like as a goalie, as a player, like I appreciate everything, but I'm sitting there with like a group of people thinking like, oh, there's a couple in front of me that's probably like their first game. Like, what are they thinking? And it's very quiet in the stadium, and it's kind of back and forth. There's like some missed passes. It's just.
I think like, there was a certain point right before I said like the NHL peaked, like maybe 5-6 years ago, where scoring was at like an all-time low, and that's where I think the game is boring to people. Where you pay all this money, you go to the game, and the game ends 1-0.
Yeah,
like you've watched 60 minutes of action to see one goal get scored, and it's very back and forth, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think two factors go into your statement about bringing someone that's never seen a game to a game to see it, right?
Yeah.
And like understand and appreciate it.
Right.
One is the live atmosphere of the game. Like if that place is rocking, like they're gonna be like, this is sick, like best experience of my life.
Yeah.
The second aspect is the seats that they're in, because you mentioned about the speed of the players. If you're up in the balcony, you're watching them, you don't appreciate how fast they're going. If you're glass side, they're like fucking gone in 5 seconds, you know, like up and down the ice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are the two things. And then I think the biggest barrier to entry for the NHL in general for fans and players alike is the cost of tickets and the price barrier of equipment for families to, you know, have your son or daughter play hockey growing up. You have to buy them gear literally every year because of how quickly they grow. And it's got to be the most expensive sport along with golf.
Right.
Like those have to be the two most expensive.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. Yeah.
Like even ice time, referees, officials, scorekeepers, and that's all after you've made the initial investment of buying gear for your child that they're definitely going to outgrow in the next year.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you got these players and other organizations helping out with to give gear and
it's
help
just
out.
As great as that is, like that's never going to be enough because you have an entire globe that wants to play this game, you know, and it's like there's 32 organizations that are pushing for it. Like it's just insane. It's the grand scale of everything would be unreal.
Right. It's very expensive. But I feel like as a player, especially a goalie, give them something to like start off with, and I don't know, just like be like, all right, what do I need to update now? Like, just go by one by one. But when I first started playing, man, it was just like, well, when I first had to buy my own shit, like I needed an entire new set, and I remember doing the math for it, fucking working Stop and Shop hours. And I'm like, right. Jesus Christ.
So I was in the same boat because honestly, I started playing because you were playing. Me and you were good friends. I was like, that's really cool. Like, I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I want to say to new players starting out, like, don't sacrifice your own safety for the price of your equipment, because I felt a lot of the stuff that I was facing when I first started playing, because I was like, I just want to get out there. I need to save as much money as possible and just be there. Like, my helmet didn't fit right. My pads would, like, get blown into the net when I made a save, but the puck would go to the corner. Like, just shit gear. I would go home bruised, beaten, sore, like, but I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'll say for, like, new players starting up, like, don't do what I did. It's not smart. No. It's you gotta spring the extra money to your own safety. And honestly, like, the most important piece of equipment you wear is your helmet. You need a good helmet that fits you proper. You don't buy the clearance one. Even like shopping brands, even if you're a brand slut, you're like, I love, like, I don't know, Reebok. I only want to wear Reebok gear. But the Reebok helmet isn't made for your head shape or your head size. Like, you need to wear the one that fits you proper and protects you the right way. I got a Vaughn for Christmas for my parents one year, and the thing was, like, made for someone who was like the fish. A lot of SpongeBob references. You know, the flat fish that's bullying SpongeBob, dude? It's made for a dude with a head that was shaped like that. Like, it was like this on me, and like, my cheekbones were pressing against, like, where the cage started almost. And I was like, I have no peripherals, and any shot that hits me, I'm like feeling it on my face, like right here, pressure points. So I knew it wasn't for me from the jump, but it all depends on, like, who you are and how it fits you, and that's important. Number one.
Yeah, every player, every goalie especially, is just different. I always say, like, I'll never make this mistake again. I bought a pair of pants. This is years ago. It was like iTech. That's how fucking long it was ago. On Goalie Monkey. Online, and I got them, and they were just massive, like, too big, and it just didn't work for me at all. And they were also shit quality as well. And I just realized from then on out, like, I gotta go. Whether it's Pure Hockey, whether it's Goalie Monkey in Norwood, I gotta go there. Mm-hmm. Even if I don't buy it, I need to try it on and to see what works, and then just go from there, you know? Mm-hmm. And so that's the equipment I have now.
So I'm gonna jump on a little tangent here. I'm gonna flame Goalie Monkey right now. I have been a big proponent of going to Monkey Sports over Pure Hockey, just a personal preference. I liked it there. I like the guy Whack that does all the goalie equipment, like, very knowledgeable. Like, I just really like going there, and it wasn't anything against Pure Hockey. I just had a really good experience there. My brother doesn't know much about you know, hockey and things like that, but regardless, right? He buys me a $75 gift card to Monkey Sports. I believe it was a Hockey Monkey gift card, right? Mm-hmm. So I go to the store. You were with me.
Yep.
To spend the $75 gift card. I'm getting my lacrosse stick strung up, and they were like, "Oh, we can't take that." I assumed that it kind of seemed like the guy was like, "This is a service kind of thing, so, like, you can't use a gift card for it." But then I think I went to buy something else at the store, and they're like, "Oh, you can't use that in the store." So my brother brought me a gift card for your company that I can't use in your store.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. He's like, "That's an electronic gift card." I was like, "All right, that's fair. I'll just buy something online," right? Like, It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I paid to get my lacrosse stick strung. I left the store. I don't think I bought what I was going to buy, or maybe I didn't pay cash. I think I got, like, tape or some shit. Yeah. But I was like, all right, whatever. I'll go home and spend that. So I go home. I'm shopping online. I fill my card up, and I get an error message that, like, this gift card doesn't work, right? And I'm on Goalie Monkey, and I figure it out. I'm like, I wonder if it's because of this. So I go to the Hockey Monkey site, enter the code, and I can buy 2 of the 3 items I wanted to buy. The third item is only available on Goalie Monkey.
So you can't buy it.
I couldn't buy it. So I called them. I was like, this is, like, insane to me. And they're like, oh, if you just, like, submit that order and put a little note and, like, tag me in it, basically. The woman helped me and got the problem resolved and basically added the Goalie Monkey item to my Hockey Monkey cart to cash out.
That's way too complicated.
It's way too complicated, and at the end of the day, I paid $75 to your company to spend at your store. Yeah. You should let me spend it however the hell I want, wherever the hell I want,
right.
In-store, online, whatever. And then, so she added that other item. Let's call it, like, $75 gift card. Let's call it a $35 purchase. $12.95 to ship it to my house.
Jesus.
But I don't have the option to pick it up at the store because you don't let me spend it at your store.
Right.
So I have to pay $13 to ship it here. which I've now spent $48 on my $75 gift card.
Mm-hmm.
I now have $27 left to spend, but it's $12 for shipping. So if I want to buy something else, like I have to pay fucking $12 to get it shipped here.
Yeah.
It was like the most absurd, ridiculous nonsense I've ever like dealt with in my life. Like it was just the most unprofessional thing I've ever seen. I was like, this is nuts.
That needs to be handled.
Right?
A lot better.
There were like 4 different walls that I walked into that I was like, this is dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
for a $75 gift card.
And that was a tangent that probably no one wanted to hear because like I didn't even want to deal with it. I didn't want to hear about it either. But like, wow, I couldn't believe it.
I was still shocked that day. This was a while ago because I remember going and they'd be like, "Oh, I wanted to borrow Connexta there," and they weren't. I'm like,
The store seemed empty, didn't it?
It did.
Like they had like
that's why I wanted
4
to
helmets
bring up.
and like 3 pads. Like it was weird.
Yeah, I usually go in there.
That store's usually stocked.
Pure Hockey, the one I go to is it's actually pretty cool. They actually, I was just in there recently because I had to get my skate shop, and I'm like, why do you have a bigger selection than Goalie Monkey? That doesn't make any sense. But
right
when I was there, I like to go in because they have a lot more stuff than Pure Hockey usually.
Mm-hmm. And they had their own separate facility.
Yeah,
it was like Goalie Monkey's here. You have to go in a different door.
And they had like a huge full wall of like different like goalie pads that like I used to check out, the gloves, just everything you want.
I'm sure COVID had a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's keep less inventory here and keep it at the warehouse.
Maybe because when we were there, I was like, that's my heaven. Like that's like my fucking kid in the candy shop.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, I know exactly where I'm going. So I go to the corner. I'm like, where the fuck is everything? Yeah, like
brick and mortar establishments are just struggling, man. It's just changing the world. Malls, I mean, just in general.
Yeah.
Think about like strip malls. When's the last time you went to something in a strip mall? You know what a strip mall is, right?
No.
So like a mall is like South Shore Plaza, like the big ass mall. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything's there. A strip mall is like, you know where Tennessee Barbecue and Braintree is?
Oh, yeah,
Pearl Plaza.
Mall, yeah.
Like that's a strip mall they call it because it's just like a strip of stores around the outside. You park there. And
gotcha.
A bunch of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Strip malls like that, dude. Those brick and mortar businesses are like they're all kind of closing up shop. We're gonna be online only, shit like that. Like Amazon's changed it for everyone.
Wow,
it's nuts.
I think COVID changed
that
so
too.
much.
That too.
We're just talking about we've been here for an hour and went on a fucking tangent here. We're just talking about my friend Joe, where he got a job, and in the job interview, I think he said he was gonna bring it up, but the job interview itself, they're just like, hey, like we only need you to come in. We would like for you to work from home a lot, and just like you don't have to come in like 2 or 3 times a month. I'm like, dude, businesses are fucking doing that now.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think a lot of corporations looked at it and said like, we don't need to pay all this rent or buy this entire office space building, and like, why do we need you to drive here to do your job?
Right.
Like, you can do your job from home.
We figured out Zoom. We figured out webcams.
Right.
We're good.
Yeah.
And you can work from home.
But there is that like camaraderie aspect. Like my company just got back to sales meetings in person today, like this week, since before COVID. It's the first time we've all been in the room together. So I was like, this is awesome. Like I'm really glad to be back. It was cool. And it's different. Like I don't want to click the button to raise my hand on Zoom and like, I don't know. It's just different. Like if you're in person, I'd be all day. Like, yeah, I'll raise my hand and ask a question. But
I never worked from home at all.
I wish I could have, man. It'd be sick.
Fuck, man. I wish I could have.
It'd be sick, right?
Oh,
and I also think it's a grass is always greener kind of thing because like MK kind of said that to me too when I was like, man, I wish I could work from home. She's like, well, maybe you don't. Like maybe the grass is just, it looks greener. But think about it. If you're 40 hours a week at home and then when you're out of work, you're still at home.
Still at home.
Right? Like
you're not going.
You're going to be like, I got to get the fuck out of this place. But like you live there, you know? Right? Like, I don't know. I haven't experienced it. So
at least at work, like you're out of there. But at home, you're just like, you just shut off the computer.
And you're also out of the house. Like, I don't know. It's just having 2 different places to be, you know?
Right.
You break your week up that way, I guess. But I don't know.
Give or take. There's a few people work on the trains where there's a few people that like they're happy to be back. There's a few people that fucking hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Give or take with people.
Yeah. Everyone's different.
Mm-hmm. But that ends it. That ends episode 89.
One thing I did have, our post-to-post pick for this week.
That's right.
We should have done it last week after our breakdowns. We forgot. We kind of had a little off-the-rails episode last week, too.
Oh, yeah.
We did not decide who was going to win the Stanley Cup this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do we think?
I'm going to go with you. You say first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I have jumped on the New York Rangers bandwagon because I don't want to pick the obvious answer of Colorado, Tampa. I think both of those teams have better odds, too.
Mm-hmm.
But to see, if you think about it, right, the last few teams to win the Cup have been, like, not the favorites, but, like, going into it, like, very strong contenders to be the favorite. Like, I think this New York Rangers team is definitely an option.
Yep.
But I wouldn't say that they're a favorite to win it. They do have Igor Shesterkin. Like, he's playing out of his mind. He's one of the best in the league. And I just think the way the team's built, like, if they're healthy come playoff time, I want to see them raise the cup. I think that'd be cool.
Okay. All right, well.
A little bit of a different answer from me. Probably not what you were expecting at all.
It wasn't at all what I was expecting. So in my head, I do want to say the Calgary Flames, but I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to put the Carolina Hurricanes.
Cool. Those are kind of interesting picks for us. I kind of expected one of us to take either Colorado or Tampa, but I kind of wanted to be oddball with mine this year.
Yeah, I think Calgary is going to be fucking incredible, but I don't know what they're going to look like. Shit can happen throughout the season, but I think the Carolina Hurricanes are going to look fantastic this season, so I got them going up.
I like your pick a lot better than mine. I think that my team is too young to get the job done, but I think it's going to look kind of like a Cinderella story in a sense.
Yeah.
If they get in and get
I'm
through.
with you. I love watching the Rangers. Love
right?
them.
Like I do kind of want to root for them this year.
I thought they played really fucking well against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I also set my fantasy team up around them hard. I have like 4 players from their team.
Really?
I think I have Zibanejad, Shesterkin, Panarin, and maybe one other guy. Like, I usually spread my guys out a lot. Like, I try to have one from each team. But I also think that I noticed last year, like, that kind of weighed me down because at the end of the day, you take one from each team, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get the average of all of the teams, right?
Right.
So if I'm just, like, really diving into 2 or 3 teams and just taking, like, these guys are all going to support each other and, like, rack up points together. Mm-hmm. If it's a line mate too, and they're on the same line and this guy passes that guy, guess what? Instead of 3 points for a goal and 2 for an assist, I got 5 points from 1 goal.
Ooh,
Yeah. Right?
Interesting.
So I kind of went in on that mentality this year. I mean, it's kind of a live or die by one team at the end of the day,
It'll be interesting to go back to our picks at the end of the season and be like, whoa, we were fucking wrong. You know?
I like doing that each year. I like seeing like who was in and who was out for who we had for playoffs too. Mm-hmm. I always think that's cool to see.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we just talked about it like a month ago, maybe. I think we brought up like, oh, who'd you pick to go into the playoffs? Or Stanley Cup Finals or some shit. And I can't remember what I said, but I still remember being like, holy shit, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah, you're going to be saying that a lot.
Yep. Why? Toronto Maple Leafs?
No, you just have,
my picks are just all over
your
the
picks
place.
are wild, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You got Winnipeg, 2nd seed in the West.
It's going to happen.
All right. Peace out.
All right, so what do we got here?
Blueberry Slam or something? I don't know.
Yeah, Blueberry Slam.
Blue Raspberry Smash. Slurp Jello shots. Let's go.
Yep, there you go.
Cheers, buddy.
Nope. I'm still not used to the fucking Jello shots.
It's good.
I'm like, again, just like last week, I'm like, I expect a liquid, and it's not. I'm like, oh my God. I gotta fucking swallow this.
It's like somewhere in between. And like, whenever I go to do them, they sit for a second, and then it all comes through. Like, I go to put it up, and then, like, the shot doesn't come down right away, and it's like, yeah.
Yep.
All at once.
Like, all right, time to swallow this. I like that. What did we do? Watermelon last week?
Yeah.
Watermelon was okay.
One of those two.
I
think the Blue Raz is the best.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah. That didn't taste like anything. That was nice.
I have a bright and early 7 a.m. skate tomorrow. I usually do my Wednesday 6 a.m. I had a league game this week. 5-3 win, empty net goal. Not a big deal. We're 2-2 on the season. What are you guys at?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Is that all you're skating?
We're 0-3 so far this season.
It's not bad. You still got time. Is that all you're doing, though? Just the team? Nothing else?
Yeah. Actually, so the players that I play with, they play like fucking 5 times a week. You wouldn't believe it, but they do. And they actually have a Thursday night skate at Divine Rink in Dorchester. And a lot of times they need goalies, so Mark will be like, hey, like, if you're around. So I think I'm going to pick that up pretty soon.
There you go.
Add some more. I try not to be honest. When I first started playing for the Dogs, I used to just be like, all right, I need to get better. So I'd go on the Mass Lawyer list, and I'd play with, like, B's, C players, like, different teams and everything. And when you go from, like, that and then play for the Dogs as, like, a D-level team, you're all fucked up because what's the word? What am I trying to say here? You just, as a goalie, you're just messed up because, like, all of a sudden, like, the game you had, like, 2 nights before, you got used to, like, C-level competition, and now you got to, like, reset yourself to, like, D. Or just, like, having no defense and.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that before, but I just think at the end of the day, if you play as a B-level goalie and treat everyone like a B-level player, like, you're going to make the save, aren't you?
Yeah, true.
That's how I look at it, at least.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe we can turn shit around this season.
Yeah, I've actually been pretty tempted into buying one of the microphones so that you can get me set up to be mic'd up too. My buddy Pat that we had on the show, Pat Norton, wants me to be mic'd up for the Tuesday morning pickup. So
nice.
What do you say? $60 buy a mic?
Some shit like
and
that.
I can borrow your GoPro. Get it done.
We'll set it up like the way I have this. That's nice. Nice and easy.
Sounds good to me. So we'll get that going soon, hopefully. In the crease with Chris.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yep. All right. You want to call us out?
Thanks, everyone, for listening. If there's anything you want to see us cover next episode, let us know. Our links are in the description, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, guys.
Peace.